Hello and welcome to Toto TCG. You are here with me, Matthew, and we are back here with another Pokemon video on the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be checking out, we're going to be checking out the last of the 3 new figures that came out in the Series 8 of the Select Pokemon figures, and that is, of course, Ceruledge. Boom. We have Ceruledge. We've already opened up both Zeraora and Golisopod. Ceruledge finishes off this entire wave for us. As you can see on the back, the only other one was the Rayquaza that got a reprint. And we've got it. We've got Ceruledge, which kind of an interesting thing, because now we're going to get Armarouge. They did the same thing with Unite. They gave us Ceruledge, and then a couple of months later, oh, there's Armarouge. So, will we see Armarouge as a figure? That is the question. Well, we'll guess we'll see. We have already had spoilers as to what the next ones are. I'm not going to reveal what that is or anything like that, because we like to just sort of see what's what as and when everything happens. But we do indeed have Ceruledge right here to open up. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Let's see what this one is like. Looks as if we've got some sort of like sword hands going on here for his like flaming hands, so that's going to be a nice little interesting concept. So let's open all of this up, grab out our cardboard bit here, pull this out if we can, there we go, boom. Let's pop our cardboard off to the side. Alright, let's have a little look. So it's just the back bit. We'll get the top here just opened up so we can get the plastic base out. Alright, we've got our base here. Of course, same one with the circles and the 2 bits here that we can put together. And of course, obviously, whilst you're putting your figure together, you don't have to obviously have these all, you know, fully connected. You can always, you know, unpeg them from each other. What I'll do is I'll also get out the plastic bit at the back as well, just so we've got full access to get the figure out here. It's going to be quite an interesting one, because from what I can see on images of Ceruledge and also of this figure, the feet are very, very sort of thin. They're quite small, so to actually get him to stand on his own is going to be quite an interesting one. It's almost like the same thing with Golisopod. They had he had very short, stubby feet, but the rest of it was obviously quite hefty. Whereas this is quite a sort of skeletal, thin, sort of fiery Pokemon going on. But let's get these bits out here. We should be able to just trim some of these off so we can get the figure out here. Should be nice and easy. A couple of them around the legs. There we go. I think that might be it. Oh, there's one at the top. Of course there is. I was thinking there's got to be one round about the head. There we go. That should be... Oh, and there's one on that blade up here. There we go, boom. Okay, interesting. Ooh. Okay. First sort of things, it's looking rather interesting. We'll have a little look at it now. Let me just clear up this plastic here. There we go. Now, of course, I drop some of it as well, because that's what we do. That's how we do things. Alright, so he's already posed quite nicely, to be honest, with this sort of up and down sword movement here, which sort of gives off some of the articulation going on here. We have got an all-round very interesting looking figure right here. To sort of see this in person is very, very interesting. And it does live up to what I said about sort of like a skeletal Pokemon, because this is very thin. It is a very thin looking figure, but obviously with those blades it sort of helps to bulk things out here, so you can really have him sort of lift those up a bit if you wanted to. Now the interesting thing here is it looks as if these shoulders are on like rotation joints, but they're connected by 2 pieces on the shoulders, so they're like fully going to move where you sort of put them, so they're not going to always be permanently up like this. They can always be down as well. It just depends on how you want to pose it. In terms of the head articulation, it can sort of push past those spikes. You just have to sort of lift and up and down the head a little bit. So it's got rotation, it's definitely got some up and down going on there. Everything is painted rather nicely. There's a couple of little black marks just on the actual paint, but that's probably going to be easily removable. The blades themselves are looking incredibly cool. I have to say they are looking very cool. They're not a clear plastic, they are painted like this. They're not that pointy on the edge either. And a majority of these spiky bits are actually rounded as well. So not a lot of spikiness to this, which is good to see, which is very, very good to see. So we've got double knee articulation down here, as well as a bit of thigh swivel, which actually is kind of locked in place. I don't really want to force that too much. It just seems like it rotates just a little bit, but then again, if it is on the base, how much do you really want the thigh to move out by? Not a lot. So you can have it more straight or more angled, which is cool. We've got obviously the little plate bits around here near the bottom. The shoulders, like I said, they've all been, they've got 2 joints. There is actually a little bit of crunch at the waist there. You can kind of see it moving back and forth there. So that does move back and forth. So it gives you a little bit more of a ability to pose there. But yeah, he's got a great sort of neck articulation. So he can look up quite well when he's sort of standing. He can kind of, well, I mean, he's not going to look up at the camera, let's just say. But he is definitely, he's got that downward movement going on. Probably able to see it better there. So range of motion there in the head is really good. So we can get some really good poses there when you want him to sort of maybe like look a little bit more menacing like that. You can really sort of like get him sort of posed up menacing and everything. That's going to be cool. It's going to be very cool if they do make Armor Rouge. I think that's going to be a really cool little like extra to have on here. Even having like a double base where you could maybe have them back to back or something like that. It's quite hard to do, but maybe somebody might get a custom or something like that of that. We can obviously plug the base in here. We've got several points of articulation here. All the joints are fairly, I mean, obviously that one's going to split as well, because that's the, oh, it does have a bit of clicky click going on now. Okay, that but we can obviously loosen it. The more you do it, the more loose they become, and then you can sort of click them into place. But you can obviously take all these apart if you want to, in order to help with the posing and everything of that. It's only got a small tab really, but then again, it is just on his like lower back area for the peg, so we can sort of peg that in there, and he's going to be able to go into there. And then we've got him in a bit of a jumping pose at the moment, but of course we can rotate it whilst it's on the base here to try and get it as close to that base as possible. So we're just going to give that a bit of a rotate there. Give it a little bit of a rotate. He can be slightly off the base if we wanted to. I kind of maybe want to get it so that maybe he's got like a bit of a, almost like a landing pose. So, not maybe like that with the blades out, but I don't really want him sort of staring too much, but let's have a little look, see what else we can get done with this one. So that's now touching the base, okay. Okay, so what have we got from there? Let's have a little look from this angle, okay. Let's have a little look on the box actually, because we didn't take a look at what we've got on here. Sometimes this is good inspiration for it. Let's close this up so we can get this all on the screen here. So we've got this one here where he's sort of got a bent knee and both swords are sort of pointing more towards. And then this one, oh, that's quite a cool, like regal looking one where he's got it off to the side. Leg is slightly bent, other one is straight and a bit curved. Whereas this one has just got him sort of standing on the base, both arms. I quite like this regal stance here. Let's see if I can recreate that, because that should be quite an easy one to do. Let's have a little look. Let's bring him off the base now. Now that I know he's going to touch the base, we'll take that off. So, we've got this leg is actually more straight, and sort of there. Then this one is more bent, and more in. So we've got one that's more out, one that's more in on the thigh swivel. So we'll keep that bent. This hand is going to be more sort of like that, whilst the other one is down like that. And then the head is going to be just over the shoulder like that. And then that's going to give us our pose, it looks like, from the actual box. Let's plug that in, see how that looks. See how that looks, maybe. It's an interesting pose. It does look quite menacing. We've got both the. We could obviously move both those back, so it gives him that. Oh, I quite like that bit of a wider sort of look. I quite like having those swords like that. Of course, the waist is wanting to move a little bit, but I think having that sort of extra detail of the one leg on the base, one leg is sort of bent. Head is sort of on that diagonal, which is quite cool, and you've got the swords as well, sort of off to the side there, which work very, very well with this one. Looking really cool. Really cool indeed. Very nice. And of course it will pair extremely well with the others. Now obviously this is a top-down view, so I can't really give you a comparison because I'd have to hold all three of them, and I've only got two hands. But overall, a very, very cool looking figure. It's a greatly articulated one, very sort of thin. Compared to the Golisopod, which was quite a hefty one, this is quite a thin one, but opening those blades up really brings out a bit more width in the overall character here. A lot of posability options, obviously, like I said. So you've got the double knee, thigh, nothing on the actual feet because it's just like an actual solid piece of plastic. The actual like sword hands, there's a rotation in the sort of wrist. Then there's a double there's a double elbow. And then there's also a bit of shoulder articulation as well, with, of course, the articulation from the shoulder pads. And the neck is pretty much like on a ball joint / hinge. And then, of course, you've got the middle articulation there as well. So, overall, a very, very interesting figure indeed. And what we'll do is we'll get a comparison with all three of them right now, but I'll get it so that they're all on the same level. So, let's go over, let's check out, and finish this one off.
And as if by magic, here they are all lined up next to each other. Don't they look ominous altogether? That Golisopod just looks so cool, but they really have a great sort of feel altogether. And you can see that size comparison. I'm pretty much all on the ground here trying to get a good shot of all of this. They are looking incredibly cool altogether. All three of them just look so cool. It's such an interesting wave as well to have. And I'm excited for the other ones that will be coming up very, very soon as well. But yeah, there we go. There is our last opening for Ceruledge with the other two that we've opened throughout the week. We will be back tomorrow when we start off our journey into Surging Sparks. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll see what is what from that set, because it's looking rather interesting. The last one of this year for Pokemon. But yeah, I'll leave it here for this one. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you in the next video on the channel. I'll see you then.